here. I think that's how I do it. Yeah. Welcome, everybody, to Let's Talk Seniors Memory Care Issue, Dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. I'm your host, Deirdre Virvo. I am an author and a senior advocate, and also owner of the Just Like Home Dogwood Home, which is a beautiful, brand new concept, boutique living for 6 seniors in need of assisted living or memory care. We just opened that facility in Shelton. So if you want more about that, want to hear more about that, please give me a call, contact me. You'll see a little promo at the end of the video. Today we have a special guest on. So we're here for seniors. This is a tough time for seniors during COVID and their families who have them at home, and everybody at home coming up with new and interesting things to do. And tonight we have a special guest on, and she's going to be talking about how to engage your seniors creatively. So to bring out their creative juices and their creativity so that their minds can thrive and think and, and really help them grow and stay alive. So if you have a parent or loved one who's having a hard time with their creative abilities or just keeping engaged, Denise Taylor is here to help you with your senior. She is a creative arts specialist and owner of Arts Enable LLC. She has a master's degree in expressive arts therapies, and she specializes in developing therapeutic programs for seniors and individuals with special needs. She empowers them, aids communication, stimulates cognitive boost, self-confidence, and provides coping strategies through the creative process. She customizes her work to the needs of each client or group by blending a variety of therapeutic modalities, including art, drama, music, reminiscing, storytelling, and movement. She has worked in schools, senior communities, private residences, hospitals, and daycare centers. Denise is also a licensed realtor in Newtown and a certified Newtown Strong Therapy Dog Handler. To hear more about that. So listen to Denise, and you could use her tips to promote your independence, social connections, creativity, and self-confidence through art, music, movement, and other modalities. She's going to give you some pointers on how to build your seniors' independence through art and creativity. So welcome, Denise. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So you have some interesting things going on here. First, I never heard of a master's in arts therapy. Is art therapy. So it's using, tell us what that is exactly.
So expressive arts therapies, it's using, learning to use a multimodal approach with a variety of art forms to work with people. It can be used with anyone, but I focus on seniors with memory challenges.
Nice. Nice. And so do you feel like it brings back some of their memory and some of their ability and some like it's helping their mind stay sharp?
Yes, absolutely. There is a really large body of research that supports the benefits of using the creative arts to help seniors with memory impairments. And what they do in essence is they help to access the portions of the brain which are still healthy and without disease. And so literally you can bypass the disease portions of the brain and access through music, art, movement, poetry, storytelling, a variety of ways, aromatherapy, stimulating the senses, stimulating the neurological pathways, and accessing the healthy portions of the brain.
That is super duper. So first tell us a little bit about yourself. So you have a master's in art therapy. You're also, what is a strong therapy dog handler? That means a dog or you're just strong. What is that?
So Newtown Strong, after the tragedy in 2012 in Newtown, and I'm a Newtown resident, an organization was formed of therapy dogs called Newtown Strong Therapy Dogs.
Oh,
So yeah, so my husband and I went through the program. We became certified handlers, and we take our dog Sumi with her little vest around to a lot of events in the community. And again, it's the art of healing through pet therapy, more or less.
I love it. Okay, so it's Newtown Strong Therapy Handler. It's not
Newtown-Strong.
Strong Therapy Dog Handler. Okay, different emphasis. I got it. Okay, Newtown Strong. Yes, my cousins are from Newtown. They even went to the school. My cousin was a first responder. It was horrific. And so I know the community really pulled together to do
Yes,
everything.
they did. Yeah.
And it was beautiful that so many people, even my cousins, they took courses in what to do. So many people took courses. They took courses in mental health after that.
Yeah.
They needed to spot people that had, could possibly do something as terrible as that again, right? So, that's Go Newtown. They really did pull together as a team.
They really did. The community has come up with so many innovative ways of helping the community to heal. We have a lot of new organizations that have popped up, new community activities, a new community center with wellness programs. I mean, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, one of my girlfriends was actually opening mail for months from all over the world. People were sending money. And my cousin worked for the Newtown Bee, and people called from around the world 24 hours a day to get reports on the story for this little hometown newspaper.
Yeah.
Like international calls 24 hours a day, and they need extra staff to field it. It was crazy. It was crazy, crazy, crazy time.
Yeah.
And currently, you're right. You're coming live from your lake house.
I am. So I'm in Harwinton, Connecticut, which I never knew about until I was looking for a client for a lake house. And but she wanted a lake where they could have their big motorboat and so on. And this place, only electric vehicles, electric boats, kayaks, very mellow, calm kind of place. And I said to my husband, hey, this looks like something we might like. So we've been using it as an Airbnb, and
That is great.
this is our little window where we can stay. So this is our week.
That's a great escape, especially during COVID.
Yes.
And you probably come up with a lot of creative ideas up there in the nice, quiet calmness of a lake.
It helps to have the calm, for sure. You don't have as many distractions.
Yeah, that's super. So tell us a little about how you started Arts Enable and what it's all about.
Sure. Well, I had been using the creative arts, which I had described to you, are a number of different modalities: art, music, movement, storytelling, poetry, drama, in a lot of different ways, working with special needs individuals with physical and emotional and intellectual impairments, to children, preschoolers, and it all just with my mom having dementia and living that life of watching her go through the progressions of the disease from mild to advanced to eventually dying from it. I just felt like I really needed to harness my skills and focus on this much needed area for seniors, especially those with memory impairment, that this was the way that I wanted to go. So I started this business focusing on seniors with memory impairments and going around to assisted living facilities throughout Connecticut. And excuse the barking dog, I'm moving my chair too much.
It's a therapy dog. That's okay. What's in on the conversation?
So myself and my subcontractors will go around to assisted living facilities and we'll run programs. And it's been very successful and gotten good feedback from the staff and the residents.
So give us an idea of what you do. Like you would go in to a program, and what kind of things would you do with somebody that had severe memory impairment?
Right. So I'd like to give some examples of, and I won't address it in a group format, because usually when we go into facilities, we're dealing with groups of 5 to 15, 20 people. I'm going to talk about it as if you're sitting with a senior, whoever's participating here, because the whole idea is to give you some ideas about maybe some things you might like to try, and with that person. And I really want to stress that it's about the social connection. So you want to do this with the person if you can, rather than leaving them alone to do it, because it's about the interaction, knowing that you care, feeling safe. You're setting the tone for that person, and it's your time together. So some things you can do, you always want to introduce it in a very positive, relaxed way. Do you want to have some fun? Non-threatening. Do you want to try something with me? And usually what I get is, oh, I'm not an artist. I can't do that. And I say, well, guess what? I'm not either. But do you like to have fun? Well, yeah, I love to have fun. So let's try something. Just, it's in the approach. You know, these folks are often very resistant and fearful of trying something new. They're often depressed. They're often full of anxiety, worried about not being able to control their own brains and what they're thinking and saying. And so you really want to just make it a very non-threatening idea for them and be with them to help guide them through it. So an example, and before I show you examples, please keep in mind that even though some of these may look like they were done by a first or second grader, that is totally not the point. The point is, right, it's the experience, it's the process, it's the going through it together, it's what comes out of that organically, and not having them focus on the product, whether it's pretty, whether it looks like a fine piece of art, whether it's museum quality. Just focus on the process and having fun. And then you focus on sharing and talking about it and seeing if it brings up any memories. But it's not about, oh, how this looks.
Right.
Okay? So I'm going to give you a few examples. So a nice non-threatening activity when you're first doing something with someone would be like a scribble art. And what they can do is take a permanent marker. You only need multimedia paper, such as this.
Is that cut paper?
Pardon?
Is that cut paper?
This is mixed media paper. You can get it at the art store and just rip it off, 8.5 by 11. Rip off a piece. And then take a permanent magic marker and ask them if they have a piece of music, a song or a singer that they would like to hear. Because as soon as you introduce music, their defense system goes down. They become lighter. You want to find music that they have an emotional connection with, such as from their era. An 80 or 90-year-old might be interested in something from the 40s and 50s or 30s, like Sinatra, Doris Day, Dean Martin, and a song that they can sing to is ideal. So first you want to explain the activity. Today we're going to do some scribble art. Let's give it a try. Here's a magic marker. We've got some watercolor paint, and we're going to listen to a song. And as you're listening to the music, we're just not even going to think about it. We're just going to let that marker move. And by the way, if you feel like dancing at the same time and singing, well, we can do that together.
That's
I mean, you're just having fun. But what this is doing scientifically, this is stimulating neurons in the brain. This is making neural connections in the brain, in healthy portions of the brain that empower them, because now they have a form of self-expression that's just been unlocked by your key, that they now can express themselves. They can sing the lyrics to a song while they're doing an art project, and their daughter might not have even known that they knew the lyrics to the song. They might not have even known. And it makes them feel very good and empowered, that they have some control over their minds. So here we are doing this thing to the music. Maybe I played That's Amore to this particular piece. When the moon...
You could tell. What do you mean? You didn't have to tell me that, Denise. I could tell.
You know. So there we are singing When the Moon Hits Your Eye Like a Big Piece of Pie, That's Amore. And we're having fun. And they're not thinking about, oh, is this nice? Is this silly? They're thinking about getting into, they're just not really thinking, which is the whole point. And then once they create the design, maybe you've done some singing and some moving together and laughing, you might ask them to fill it in with some watercolor. So get some watercolor. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You can get some at the dollar store. Most supplies can be gotten at the dollar store or Michael's.
Mhm.
And you paint in the spaces and give them a choice of colors and paint in the spaces and see what you come up with, because
Beautiful, yeah.
they're painting in their design. So after they're done, I would put the name of the song so you remember what their artistic expression was as a consequence of listening to this particular piece of music, right? And put their little creator signature in the lower right corner, as if you would any artwork, right? So now you know that that was what was created from listening to that Zamore. You might want to stop right there and say, hey, what did you like about that? Or did you like anything about that? And they might say, I really like just making designs, or I really like singing. That's one of my favorite songs. And then you can ask some other questions depending on their level of cognitive functioning. You can ask them, did you ever listen? Was there a time when you used to listen to that in your life? Did you ever see Frank Sinatra or Dean Martin? And you'd be surprised some of the reminiscing and the stories that come from the art.
Nice.
Okay, so after you process a little bit, this only has to take 10 minutes, 5 minutes, not even. You might flip it over and play a different song. Let's come up with another song. So maybe you have time to go through 2 or 3 songs, repeat this process, put the name of each song upside down on the artwork with their name, and then you can look at it and you can compare it at the end. You'll have 2 or 3 pieces of art, and you might say, wow, these are all so different. Maybe one was a slow piece of music, a classical piece of music. One might be more upbeat, sing-songy. Choose maybe 3 very different pieces of music and ask them how it made them feel. But it's better to ask them right after they do it, because short-term memory.
So, Denise, is it good to have them do something more than once? Like you're saying, have them do 2 or 3 of this, basically the same kind of art project. Is that repetition helping with the brain? Is that why you're doing it?
It is helpful. It's also to fill up time.
Oh yeah, but I mean, does it help? Like, is it something that you would, if they were doing like another project, would you do it like 2 or 3 times so they kind of got it?
No, not necessarily.
Or, okay.
Not necessarily. This is just an example of art based on a particular piece of music, and you're trying to see how they respond to different tempos, different emotional connections with the music, and trying to bring them out and find out maybe how they relate to the music. Does it bring up memories? So it's all about engaging, showing you care about them as people, and seeing what this process does in their minds, what it makes them come up with, what it helps them to come.
I see that would be fabulous, because you don't have to be able to draw. It doesn't matter what you're drawing, and basically you're just going with the music. It's not even about drawing. It's not even about art.
And
art comes out of it.
Exactly. You want to demystify it for them. This is not about being an artist. It's about having fun, and we're trying something new. Something else is tracing your hand. This is my hand. So you're tracing your hand on a piece of paper with a pencil, right? Hard to demonstrate while I'm in this format here, but I think you get the idea. You put the paper on the table in front of them, put your hand down, and you're tracing your fingers, and you can add rings. I should say, can add a ring. They can add any jewelry they may have on. Some people put in any wrinkles that they may have, nail polish, whatever. And then, but this is a statement. This is a piece of them. I've had family members ask me if they could keep this, because after their loved ones die, they've got their hand. They've got words that they can write about. For example, once you outline the hand, then they can watercolor the hand in the background, paint any nails or other colors. But then you might want to say, when you're processing with them, gee, what did you do with these hands during your life?
Yeah.
I bet you did a lot with those hands. What are some of the favorite things that you did with
So
those?
you're trying to evoke the memories and have them come up with,
Yes.
yeah,
And,
remembering.
and the activity stimulates the memories and accesses the memories, helps them come out with forming those memories that otherwise, if you just said, hey, what's your favorite? They might not be able to verbalize or form the thoughts. But after going through something like this, which sort of unlatches those portions of the brain, they're more fluid oftentimes. Not always, but oftentimes.
Nice.
So that's a nice thing to give family members. They might want to write some words or a poem about what these hands did.
I'm writing this stuff down.
So something else which is fun is something called paint pouring. And
Pretty. That's pretty.
I don't know which way to turn it. Okay. Paint pouring. So I have a canvas. You can buy these canvases at the dollar store. You can buy several of them. And guess how much they cost each one?
$1?
Very good. So I do that over Michael's. Michael's, a little bit of a
little more expensive.
Yes. So then you take acrylic paint and you buy those little cups at the dollar store, little plastic cups. And I would put 3 different colors of acrylic paint, 1 in each cup. And it is important to buy something called Floetrol at your paint store, like Sherman-Williams or wherever. What it does is it changes the consistency of the paint.
Make it thinner?
You want it to flow more. You want it to be not a thick acrylic, but you want it to be like a milkshake consistency. So that when you take your canvas, your blank canvas, and you get one of those baking tins, you get like a pack of 6 at the dollar store, that catches the paint. Mm-hmm. So you put this over your tin to catch the paint, and you give your senior a choice of, depending on their level of dementia and their ability to make choices, or maybe they're confused by too many choices. I would say typically between 2 and 3 choices of colors, so as not to overwhelm them. Their favorite colors. So you put those in, mix in your Floetrol, and then you have them maybe to music, maybe not. If they want to hear some music, that'll add to the fun and the creativity. Have them just, I like to play music because to the music, they can kind of move and they can make a design with the paint, and it's
so they're pouring it.
They're pouring it. So this is called paint pouring, and they are literally creating a design. And it's very stimulating. It stimulates the senses to watch this live design being created. And then they, once done with one cup, they would then do it with the next cup and then the third color. And then, so now they've got designs with about 3 different colors. And then the fun part is to watch this design completely change in front of their eyes as they move the canvas slowly around.
Kind of like clean finger painting.
Exactly. So then they're watching the design change, and then a lot of times they get all excited, and whatever they come up with is usually something they really enjoy. And then what I like to do is have a little glitter, a few different colors of glitter available, and then say, let's add a little magic to this. And while the paint is still wet, just sprinkle a little bit of glitter on there.
Love glitter.
And then shake it and shake it off into your tin. And I'll tell you, again, people who are worried about not wanting to participate because they're not artists, they get so excited with the outcome.
That is so great.
Yeah.
Those are great. Those are easy things to do at home too.
Very easy.
They're not expensive. They're not messy. And I love how you're putting music with the art. I love that.
Yeah, I highly recommend in most art projects to incorporate music and try to incorporate maybe some dancing. Keep in mind, though, that if they, sometimes it needs to be seated movement. not standing movement, because safety is the main priority, right? So, but people love to move and sing and do art. It's firing on all cylinders. It's a great way to go about, and that's what I mean by a multimodal approach. Adding words, adding poetry, that's accessing another part of the brain. Adding storytelling, maybe a little story, that's something else you can do.
So what if you have a person that's resistant, Denise?
Well, I would say I mentioned overcoming some of the obstacles, like saying, oh, we don't have to be an artist. I'm going to do it with you. I'm not an artist either. Do you like to have fun? Let's just have a little fun. If someone is still really resistant, sometimes what I'll do is, well, you may not do the project at that time. It may be a moment in their day when it's just not a good time and they're not receptive. You need to respect that. Maybe we try this some other time. But what I've done is I've modeled. I've sat next to them just for the togetherness. Yeah. This is our time together. Hey, could you help me do this? That's very empowering for someone with very little cognitive function who never is in a helping role to be asked for help. I mean, they'll either freak out because you've asked them for help, or they'll most likely they'll be happy that you're asking them to be with them while you're trying something. And just by watching, sometimes I might stop and say, what color should I use next? And just try to engage them in maybe making a choice and helping me out in a choice. Sometimes these things are huge. And sometimes they'll see, oh, that's how you do it. It's not a big deal. Oh, let me try that. And then you set it up, and before you know it, the two of you are doing it together.
That is amazing. That's amazing. That's a great suggestion.
The modeling takes the threat, the fear off of them. You're taking it.
And you can say, like, with the help, it's interesting because I was talking to somebody recently, and their mother and father both went to assisted living, memory care, and then the father passed away, and they wanted to move the mother closer to them. And the mother would have moved because even though she was almost 90, she was helping somebody older in the assisted living place. She had a purpose there. There was an older woman that needed her help. So, like, you know, feeling helpful and needed and having a purpose. So even as simple as having a purpose as, I need you to help choose a color for me. Like, can you help me with my artwork? Which color should I do next? What should I do? It's like just asking them a simple thing to help would engage them, I would assume. And then they might slowly, that could be enough of engagement for them at the moment.
Yes.
Another time they might participate more, or that just might be their full participation, which is also okay. Because they're engaged. They're still engaged. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
These are great tips. I have a brother with Down syndrome, and he is reticent to do anything anymore. So, because he also has Alzheimer's and he's in his 50s. And I'm going to use these tips with him because sitting next to him and just getting him to participate, even if, like, what crayon should I use next? What color should I use? What puzzle piece should I use next? That's great. Because, you know, oftentimes he just sits there and, I don't know, you know, participate. So I love the hints and tips because he has Alzheimer's as well. So I'm going to share these with him.
I hope it's helpful. Yes.
Yeah. No, it's great. Like, I could see that, I could see how people would just respond to you, your personality.
Oh, thank you.
What you're doing with them is really cool, how you could stimulate the brain and with the movement and the music. And I mean, who doesn't love music? And speaking of Frank Sinatra, behind me on the wall right there above my head, that's a picture of Frank Sinatra.
Were you there?
Oh my gosh. I don't know if you could see that. Now you can't see too well. It's my my partner's cousin. He's a Sinatra, and that's his cousin.
Oh, wow.
From his grandmother's house. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. So I play so much Sinatra with people I work with. It just resonates with them. And it's just, when we do groups and everyone's singing New York, New York together and moving around and having a blast and telling stories, even making up stories about having seen him in concert when, you know, it was a year when he wasn't even alive, sort of thing. But, you know, I mean, it's just.
That's okay.
Yeah. So if
really
you
fun.
need more ideas, certainly
That is
contact me. And
great. So are those like what's your most popular, what is the one thing that people mainly participate in? Like if you go and this is a sure thing people are going to do with you, like when you sit down.
a sure thing is music. And I would say combining music with art and adding a little movement. You can't go wrong. You just have to be selective. Try to find out from them, especially more conservative types who are hesitant to get involved. Find out what they relate to.
So Denise, now if are you doing hands-on programs still right now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. With COVID.
Yeah.
So the deal is that I've started a webinar program where the facilities are tuning in at a scheduled date and time, much the way we are now. And where my subcontractors and I are running programs virtually.
So are you like dropping off supplies and then you're showing them how to use them?
Yeah. So we drop the supplies off, the kit ahead of time with instructions. And we then run the program, facilitate the program live during that time slot.
So you're like on the big screen TV and
yes.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And we're engaging and we're encouraging socialization and same thing that we'd be doing if we were in the room, but safer.
Oh, I love that. Is very clever and excellent. And it breaks my heart that some of these really big places, they've had nobody coming in and doing anything, and people are kind of stranded in the room. Yeah. And I love that you can engage them no matter what.
And I have a little story to share about the magic of using the music. I worked for hospice for a couple of years recently, and I was an expressive arts specialist for hospice who used to go into people's homes, and a lot of them were, in the last stage of life, obviously, and even a few days from passing. And I went into one lady's home, and her daughter, she lived with her daughter, and she was bedridden, and she didn't speak much, and she didn't engage with her daughter much. And I walked into the house and I said to her daughter, so what kind of music does your mom like? And she said, well, I don't know. I mean, she never really seemed to like music. It wasn't much a big part of her life. Well, I went up, and after introducing myself to her mom and being very calm and trying to help her feel comfortable, I asked her, would you like to hear a song? And she didn't verbalize what she wanted. Maybe she couldn't form the thought, but I kind of took that onus off of her, and I played a piece of music like Sinatra or like Doris Day or whatever. And right away, she just came right out of it. She started singing. She sang with intensity. I mean, she was singing loudly, and she was having fun, and she was smiling from her bed. And her daughter came in the room with tears and flabbergasted, because her mother knew the words. It accessed the part of the brain that remembered the lyrics. But that would not have been unlocked, that part of the brain, had it not been for this vehicle in this presentation.
That is amazing. And she was probably so thrilled to see her mother smiling and happy.
Yeah. And then that became something she could then use with her mom moving forward, to share those moments with her mom, special moments using music. So, but she didn't know that she could do that. Yeah.
Denise, maybe you could unlock that part of the brain in me, because I can't remember the words of the song and I just make it up. So maybe when I'm older,
we all do.
I will automatically know the words of songs that I never knew. So that would be great. I would love that. Yeah. Everybody around me would be happy too, because I never sing the right words. But I love that story. And I think like having your mom smile again when she's on her deathbed.
Yeah.
The greatest gift in the world.
Yeah. And I'll make this really short. There was another woman that was on her deathbed. She literally passed about 4 days after this interaction. But I asked her what her favorite dance was. And she would talk about how she and her husband used to go to the Elks Club and do the jitterbug. And I said, I've always been wanting to learn how to do the jitterbug. She says, well, I said, can you teach me? And she said, well, wait a minute. I can't teach you. I'm in bed. I said, well, maybe you can show me the arm movements. Show me the upper body stuff. And I'll just wing it on the rest. And we played some jitterbug. She told me exactly who to play for the jitterbug music. And then she grabbed my hands and we started going at it. And that was just such a special moment. And as she's lying there in bed in the assisted living facility with very little stimulation, she just had she laughed. She felt some joy. It is really, really, that's what the arts can do.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. If anybody's bedridden, to bring music and just have them do like movement in bed. I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Everybody responds to music.
Yeah.
Brings back happy memories.
It does. Yeah.
Everybody else has their happy music, even if it's silly, like from, their childhood. So it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Denise, you are a godsend. So Denise, do you also go to like regular people's homes, or you just do this with senior centers, or?
Yes, I do. I go to see individuals as well. I offer some educational programs occasionally at community centers and senior centers. So with children, nice. I've done many events with children, but I do work with individuals, absolutely, and do home visits or virtual webinars.
Beautiful, beautiful. So Denise Taylor, Arts Enable. Here's your phone number. If anybody wants to give you a call, it's 860-977-3699. And you're doing great work, especially during this time, and we really appreciate you. And keep up the great work and the great spirit. And I know your dad is also how old?
He's 91.
Wow.
Yes.
And I guess you do a lot of music with your dad.
Yes, we do some things together. Yeah. And he loves to sing, and singing is, try to sing with them. They'll teach you a few things, teach you a few songs. Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been a lot of fun. I hope I was able to share some ideas with you.
I wrote them down. You had some great ideas. Great ideas just for me. I'm going to implement them with my brother.
Okay.
And other seniors. So it's super. Thank you so much, Denise, and thank you for helping everybody.
Thank you.
We hope you come on again, and good luck. Good luck with everything, and I hope the business grows and keeps flourishing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Denise.
Good night, everybody.
Good night till we meet again. Wow, she was full of good ideas. I love that. I mean, everybody does respond to music. Music is just such a happy, positive time, and anybody can relate to some older music. I won't tell you my favorite music from when I was a teenager because it's a little silly, but everybody is a happy music, and music just is a universal uniter and keeps everybody happy. I love it. Well, until tomorrow, thank you so much for joining. Let's talk seniors, memory care issues. Until then. Hi, Deirdre here again. Thank you for joining me on Let's Talk Seniors Memory Care Issues. Is this an issue hitting home? Do you have a parent or loved one with memory care issues who you feel is not safe at home anymore? Are isolation, falls, and safety issues becoming a big concern? Welcome to Dogwood Senior Home, premier boutique residential senior living specializing in memory care. It's country living at its best in the Huntington section of Shelton, Connecticut. We're truly a home with only 6 senior residents living as one family unit. Senior residential homes are concepts sweeping the nation with 47,000 across the U.S. We're pleased to open Dogwood Senior Home as it will be only number 6 for Connecticut. Brand new, sparkling clean, opening mid-June. And safe, safe, safe. We are COVID-free. Residential care homes boast a very low COVID infection rate across the nation. This is due to the intimacy of size and speed in which the caretakers can shift to accommodate immediate needs. They are much safer than the large homes and facilities, as you can imagine. It has been documented that residents have less falls and a better quality of life in a residential home environment. Our home is more affordable than the big box facility. You pay one all-inclusive price, and that price is guaranteed for the life of the resident. With an incredible 1-to-3 caregiver ratio, which you won't find anywhere else. Our friendly, loving caregivers are dedicated and trained in Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's issues. We're only taking 6 residents, so the home will fill up fast. Call me at 203-689-7562 for a talk and tour. I would love to meet you and your loved one. See you soon. Bye.